Hello, I'm Bridget Middlemass from the University of Roehampton. We've been involved in a JISC funded project under the JISC Transformations funding, and we applied for our project under Strand A, which relates to enhancing the student experience at university. We had about 14 or 15 people altogether involved in our project. I work in our Central Learning and Teaching Enhancement Unit. We managed the project with colleagues from our e-learning team, and we also involved a further 10 or 11 colleagues from around the campus from different departments. All these colleagues had an administrative or a support role, but most importantly they all had a student-facing role. So they were involved with supporting students with queries, with software, with hand-ins, that sort of thing. We used the CEDA course which ran for about 10 to 12 weeks, called Embedding Learning Technologies, and the colleagues had to each devise a short project related to their job titles at the university and run a pilot of this over about 8 or 10 weeks. What we're going to look at in this short DVD is some of the work that came out of those projects, and we're going to start with looking at some of the initial work that we did with staff when we were just trying to get a baseline of where everybody was in terms of their own e-learning and their own confidence with using technologies and JISC tools. The first thing we're going to show you is some of the work that we did in discussions. We wanted to think about how our colleagues felt about using some of the new technologies. Here's an example from one group. We got staff to think about a typical student-facing member of staff, and we called her Miss Admin Lady. We also each thought about our own engagement with some of these technologies, and we each tried to map where we were with different applications. So really common applications such as Google or Skype, and also some discipline-specific applications and software such as NVivo or SPSS, for example, which certainly cause a lot of stress for some staff. And here's another example, really different from the previous one. As we worked together and shared our diagrams at the end of this session, we realised how different we all were and what different needs we had as learners. At the end of our CEDA course, we did some staff presentations on each of the pilot projects that people had organised. We invited some senior staff to our presentations as we thought it was really important to make the work visible.
The CEDA course was quite challenging with competing deadlines and other things going on with the academic year, but we found that we made progress when we ensured that the project that we were doing was part of our day-to-day work and it was something that we needed to do anyway, and then it was possible to dedicate the time that it needed to do everything in the project.
We invited some of our senior staff to attend the presentations and to give us their feedback on the JISC Transformations project.
I think that's the really interesting thing, that there's such good practice and that it's part of day-to-day work, and particularly with some of the colleagues we've seen who are working in academic departments, as you say, Trojan horse. Yes. They are doing this work as part of their day-to-day activities as well.
So what did we learn from our JISC Transformations project and for setting up our new CEDA programme, Embedding Learning Technologies? Well, we learnt that it's really good to work with colleagues from across the whole campus, from different disciplines, and to share ideas and to share good practice and look at how we all use technology. Okay, and lastly, it's really important to get institutional support for any transformational changes that you're trying to make at your own institution. Get the students involved, get the senior staff involved. Thanks very much for watching our DVD.